Am I always going to be here?
How close Mary is?
That's what I'm trying to see.
Good evening, everyone. We'll call the special meeting of the planning board to order. It is at 7:08. It's actually 7:10, but roll call.
Accidentally forgot to put pledge on the agenda, so maybe we should do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay.
Just saying.
Well, please rise for the pledge of allegiance. Use the pledge of allegiance.
One nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. I did that last week. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Roll call. Mr. Zangara.
Here.
Mr. Melanson.
Here.
Ms. Hutchinson.
Here.
Ms. Malvone. Mr. Rubenstein. Mr. Rubenstein.
Howie.
Mr. Rubenstein.
Yeah, here.
Mr. Vigna.
Here.
Ms. Vito. Here. Mr. Brooks. Ms. DeCandia.
Here.
They took it out. Great. Yes, I should look at the agenda. minutes from the last meeting?
Not yet.
There was no minutes, right? We have a few memorializations. Resolution,
Rich, can I interrupt for 1 second?
sure.
Yeah, these resolutions are recommending the ordinance after after assuming the board was to determine to adopt the housing amendment. There are resolutions prepared, so we need to first go through.
Okay.
So the first thing would be a presentation discussion on the housing element.
So, well, actually, I think it's important. So the reason we're here tonight is it's a special planning board meeting to go over the master plan and discuss important matters of our community. But I would be remiss if in my opening this meeting, if I didn't also mention we're here to pay honor and tribute to an individual who's dedicated over 20 years of her life to public service. As many of us know, Ms. Larkin, our esteemed planning board secretary and the mayor's executive assistant, is moving on to a new role in a different town. While we are excited for her new journey, it is impossible to overlook the impact she has made during her time. Janice has been a guiding light for us all, possessing an unparalleled knowledge of our township, but most importantly, a unique ability to connect with residents. She's been the mayor's right-hand woman, and her absence will definitely be felt by all of us. So on behalf of the planning board, not the mayor, but on behalf of the planning board, I just want to extend heartfelt gratitude for your years of service, everything you've done for the board, kept us straight and narrow and off compliance. I was almost there once, but, and the commitment to our community, it leaves a mark that will never be forgotten. So we wish you the best of luck in your endeavors, and thank you for all you've done.
Thank you very much. That was really very touching.
Thanks.
I appreciate it.
With that said, Tom, you have the presentation for us.
Okay, yeah, by state statute, every municipality in New Jersey is obligated to come up with a housing element and a fair share plan that analyzes demographic statistics in the town, looks at their past efforts in terms of providing affordable housing, determine if past efforts have been successful, if they're still viable, and then come up with a plan for the next 10 years. So this is actually called the fourth round. This is the fourth round of affordable housing in New Jersey. It's been going on. We have been a leader in the country in the provision of affordable housing, New Jersey. North Brunswick has been a leader in the area in meeting its obligations for affordable housing. So the last time we adopted a housing element and fair share plan was June 6th of 2016, almost 10 years ago. And that was a process that went through the courts, and we had an obligation of 700 affordable housing units we needed to meet, and we met it with that obligation with different housing projects, and I'm going to go over them briefly in a minute. But now going forward, the Department of Community Affairs allocated every town in the state a new amount of affordable housing that they had to provide for. We don't have to build it, but we have to zone for it if we don't build for it to make it feasible over the next 10 years. And they determined that we had 130 existing homes in the township based on census data, 130 existing homes in the township occupied by low and moderate income people that need to be renovated. Back 10 years ago, the number was 199, and we rehabilitated 104 units over the last 9 years. But now their statistics show we have 130 existing homes that need to be renovated through efforts of the township assistance, and they gave us a number of 239 new low and moderate income housing units we had to provide for. There was an ability for us to contest it with better data. We did an analysis of vacant land, and we determined we thought it should be reduced from 239. we thought it should be reduced by 27 units to 227. We presented that to the state. The Builders Association sued every town in the state that attempted to reduce their number, and then we settled. Instead of reducing our number by 27 units, we were able to reduce it by 14 units, so that our obligation for the next 10 years is to help renovate, encourage, provide some funding assistance to renovate 130 existing units occupied by low and moderate income people, and provide for 225 new units affordable to low and moderate income people. So we were required to look at what we had done in the third round, beginning 9 years ago. We were required to see what we had done, and we were very successful. Like I said, we renovated a lot of units. There were a number of alternative housing bedrooms, group homes that came into the town. We got credit for that. We worked with a developer to acquire the Oak Leaf apartment complex and renovate that and turn it into affordable units, low and moderate income units. And we zoned in the Transit Village, or in the Transit Village where Costco is, we zoned for up to 229 affordable units in that development. We also provided some zoning for senior housing on Route 130 that the Kaplan organization has built on Route 130 southbound. So we had a whole bunch of things that we utilized to comply with our 700-unit obligation 9 years ago, and I'm happy to report that all of the projects are still viable. We're still working to renovate homes. We did 104 homes. We've spent $1.5 million in funds we got from developers, not township money. Developers donated money to renovate these homes. The development, the old Oak Tree apartment complex, not only was it renovated into really nice 183 units for low and moderate income people, but there were actually 6 units set aside for homeless people. And with what's going on in town, it's amazing how easy it is to become homeless. Everybody who's homeless is not pushing a shopping cart like you see when you watch the news. And Community Investment Services, who operates the complex, as we know it is the Crescent apartment complex, believes that as many as 20-plus residents are residing in the 183 units at any point in time who were homeless at the time they applied, whether they were sleeping on a couch in their brother's apartment, my brother's apartment, whether they were sleeping in someone's basement. So being homeless doesn't mean that you're actually sleeping on the street. So the Kaplan organization built 220 units on Route 130. 22 of them were affordable. So that project has gone well. The only project that was not proceeding was the Kaplan organization was going to convert one of the retail buildings in Town Center in Hidden Lake. They're going to convert the building to age-restricted housing and give us some low and moderate income housing, 5 units. That project is not going to go forward because the vacancy rate has dropped off tremendously. So we have actually very aggressively met our housing obligation from 9 years ago. All the units aren't built yet, but they're still in place and viable. For example, the units in the Transit Village have not been able to be built. They haven't been able to build any more housing because we have a restriction in the zoning ordinance that would not allow them to go forward until there was more action on the train station. So there are things we're going to do to facilitate more housing. So just a quick discussion of demographics, which has to be in here. The township population in 2020 was 43,905 people. That's a 7.8% increase over the decade. Females are a slightly higher percentage of the population, 51% to males, 48%. And 16.4% of the township's population is 62 years of age or older. There's a higher percentage of females who are 62 years of age and older than males, 18% females versus 14% males. It appears it's true that women do live longer. So there are a bunch of tables that I'm not going to go over now, but they look at the population by sex and by age, and they look at the population by race and the percentage of Latino population and changes. What I'm going to point out is that as of 2000, 55.4% of the housing units in the township were owner-occupied. That's on page 9 of the housing element. 55.4% of our housing units are owner-occupied, 44.6% renter-occupied. It's interesting as, you know, there are breakdowns of the number of people in each household. Some of the more significant things that resulted from these tables was that, you know, there's almost 1,900 females living alone. There are 368 males who are over 65 years of over 65 years of age. 368 males, it's on page 11, who are living alone. There are 855 women over 65 years of age who are living alone. There's also a much higher number of women who do not have a spouse or partner present who have children than men, much higher percentage. So 27.9% of every household, over a quarter of the households in the township, have someone who's over 65 years of age. Then there's an analysis of the current of some additional projects going on. On page 18, there's a projection of future housing growth. And as the transit village is built out, it's projected that over the next 10 years, we can have as many as 1,521 new housing units. Page 14 is important. It points out that there's a continued need for age-restricted housing. If you look at our population, over the last 20 years, the percentage of people 65 and over has continued to go up significantly, and it still has. We have a number of women living alone who are over 65 years of age. There was a housing project built as part of our third round by the Kaplan organization on Route 130 with 220 age-restricted units, and it sold out very quickly. The township actually amended the zoning to allow them to do an additional 130 units, but they are presently being held up by an environmental issue on a part of the site that has stopped the project from moving forward. So there's a significant need for age-restricted housing. Page 14 says the number of residents in this age group grew from 6,640 people to 11,029 people. It's a 70% increase in the number of people 55 and older. 27.9% of all households had someone 65 and over. And the finding here is that at the bottom of the page is clearly an insufficient supply of age-restricted housing in the township. And that is a major goal of the master plan to try and address that. Being on 15, I analyzed what our, what our strategy is for the future. And I'm just going to go to the map to go through this fairly quickly. There are 3 sites. I'm going to move over to the aerial photograph here of the township. The township is going to continue to use money provided by developers to renovate homes. That should not be an issue. We'll have enough money to do that and meet our goal. In order to meet the remainder of our 230, it was 239 units, we reduced it. In order to meet our remaining goal, there are 3 projects that are discussed in the master plan. The first is in the transit village, this big area here in pink. It's got Costco, Target, and 156 4-story townhouses built by Pulte. In a portion of that site, in a portion of the Transit Village site, which is outlined in pink, we had discussions with the developers of the Transit Village. Their progress is tied up by progress on a train station, which they have nothing to do with. They talked to us about that, and we agree it's been held up. I can't tell you how many people have asked us about that big pile of dirt that you see on Route 1. And during our discussions, they said, look, the market's changed. We're willing to reduce the number of housing units we get on the site, and that'll give us the ability to do more townhouses and not so many 4- and 5-story buildings. We like that, but we did not want to lose the affordable units they were going to build. So we said, all right, we're agreeable to releasing you from the train station restrictions to allow the project to move ahead and help us meet our affordable housing need. But we need to figure out, we can't allow you to not build those 37 affordable units. You need to find a quality provider of this type of housing, and we will amend the ordinance. We'll consider amending the ordinance to allow a building that is 100% low and moderate income. Next door, that building, Matasera Housing, 150 units, all low and moderate income. The TOD Associates, this is what we call the owner of the Transit Village site, contacted Bergen County United Way. Bergen County United Way is a leader in doing affordable housing for families and supportive housing. Supportive housing for people that have autism or other learning disabilities. They came down, we did due diligence on them, we met them several times. I went and looked at their project, we talked about how it would be done, finance. They got an engineer. So what we are proposing as part of our housing element is we are going to eliminate the restriction on units to allow more units to be built, regardless of progress on a train station. In return for that, they reduce the number of units by 300 units. We get 300 less housing units, and as opposed to losing the 37 units, they're going to 300 units disappear if they don't build the affordable units there. They're going to, Bergen County United Way has developed a plan where they can provide a building with 37 affordable family units. In addition, this is the site that we were hoping would be a bus depot someday. The master plan said there should be a bus depot. The zoning ordinance said you need a bus depot. COVID killed that. Bus parking areas that used to be 100% filled are now half empty. And New Jersey Transit doesn't ever expect bus ridership to get up there. So what we are doing is the master plan is recommending that we eliminate the proposed bus depot with 500 parking spaces and allow Bergen County United Way to build 37 family units. And in addition, they've shown us a plan to build 43 units for supportive housing, which is what they specialize in. The regulations give us a bonus, a one-for-one bonus. The 37 family units that will be built here, and then the 43 supportive units, the 43 units will each generate a 1-unit credit. So we get credit for 86 affordable units for the 43 supportive housing units that are going to be built. Reduces the amount of housing we need to build in the township. In addition, the master plan talked about the need for age-restricted housing. Down on Route 130, there's a site by the entrance to Community Park. There's a 7-acre site that was approved 8 years ago by the zoning board for a 90,000 square foot warehouse for a tile company. Very little truck traffic. It was the type of place you would go if you wanted to look at slabs of granite or something, if you were remodeling your kitchen. Well, anyway, they didn't build, and we are proposing that this site, it's 7 acres, and the 3 acres adjacent to it become a new zone. It would be what we call the R9, the R9 mid-rise senior housing zone. We're proposing 14 units per acre, which could result in up to 140 units, and 25% of them would be low and moderate income. So we would get, if the full build-out happens, 35 low and moderate income housing units. The other site we need in order to meet our housing obligation, this is a site that is surrounded by the old Wells Fargo property. This is the shops up by 1 and 130 here. This site in yellow is carved out. There's a redevelopment plan that the township is working on 90-plus acres around this. But this site was purchased by someone else. It's a 24,000-square-foot building. It's obsolete. It's zoned office research. There's no market for office. It is obsolete. There are hundreds of thousands of dollars of work that would need to be done, and they have been unable to get any tenants. They approached us and said, hey, you're doing a housing element. You need more affordable housing. We could be the answer. We don't mind. So we had discussions with them. This is referred to as the Turnbridge site. And it is 6.3 acres. We are recommending that it have a similar density of 14 units per acre. We could wind up with 88 housing units there. Whether they're owner-occupied or renter-occupied is up to the developer. Be a mid-rise building. Each of these sites would allow buildings to go up to 4 stories. The 88 units will give us 25% low and moderate income, and that would get us another 22 affordable units here. These will be affordable family units. These will be affordable age-restricted units. You can't just do age-restricted units. You must do family units. So that's why we have a site for family units, age-restricted units. Both could go up to 4 stories. Both will be 14 units per acre. And this site also gets us bonus credits. You get a half a unit bonus credit if there's an affordable housing project built on a site that was at one point in time commercial. This was a commercial site. If it's built out, the 88 units give us 22 affordable family units, and we'll get, from those 22 units, we'll get 11 credit for 11 different additional units. So we could pick up to 11 credits there, and we could pick up from the supportive housing 43 credits. These are bonuses. Bonuses, like here, each supportive housing unit counts as 2, and here, because we're taking a commercial site, these are incentives the state has put in to have towns be willing to provide this type of housing that's needed. So that's really, these are the only 3 sites that are specifically called for new things. The Kaplan organization will continue to build the additional 130 units they want to build, and 10% of those are going to be affordable, or the 150 additional units. And the Transit Village, once we take off the restrictions tied to the train station, they'll be able to proceed and start providing more affordable housing units. So that's really our housing element, in a nutshell. We haven't built all the units from our previous round, mostly because they were tied up by restrictions on the Transit Village site, but we will be able to do that, and we will be able to meet our next 10-year obligation by making zoning changes on these 3 properties, and, assuming the board was to act tonight and adopt the housing element and fair share plan, the law requires, the new regulations on affordable housing require that the governing body has to submit to the state. We have to submit to the state a housing element and fair share plan adopted by the planning board, and we also have to submit before the end of June. This is an important date. It has to happen before the end of June, the implementing ordinances to make it happen. If we don't submit those ordinances, they don't have to be adopted by the end of June, but we have to submit the ordinances that will implement the master plan to make these things happen. If we do not do that, then the town is subject to what's called a builder's remedy. Any builder could come in and say, hey, you know what? I've got a piece of property here in this location. You haven't met your obligations under state statute. I'm coming in claiming I should be able to provide affordable housing. So that's, assuming the board goes forward with the housing element fair share plan and adopts it tonight, then we'll have a brief discussion, we discussed it at the workshop meeting, of the 3 ordinances necessary for these 3 sites. So that's our housing element in a nutshell.
Thank you, Tom. Any questions for Mr. Vigna?
No? Yep.
I don't know if anybody has any questions. I know Rich asked, we've discussed it at the workshop. It was presented a month ago, and I've emailed people, a couple of people who weren't there, so there's been chances for discussion. If there's no discussion, and everybody's okay with it, we would need a motion to adopt the housing element and fair share plan dated May 21st, 2025.
So moved.
Yeah, this is Tom Malika. Tom Vigna, remember, we have a form of resolution
Yes.
that should be available, so the board can simply vote to adopt that resolution.
We're on it.
Which
We got it.
does what Tom just said. It approves and adopts the housing element and
We
fair
have-
share plan that Mr. Vigna just explained to the board and has been working on for some time. So it's all ready to go. And we also have resolutions available and ready for the board for the 3 implementing ordinances that Tom Vigna discussed in his earlier presentation.
Great, thank you. At this point, I need a motion to open this meeting to the public.
Second.
This is just for comments on the housing element and fair share plan.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Is there anyone from the public that'd like to be heard?
Make a motion, we close the public portion.
So moved.
Second.
You take my job?
Sorry.
All in favor? Opposed? Great, thank you. So with that said, the motion,
So now did someone make a motion yet?
yeah, we need to make a motion.
Carol started to, Ms. Vito started to do motion.
Oh, sorry.
Would you like to tell us what your motion?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to vote on and approve the housing element and fair share plan dated May 21st, 2025, as explained to us by Mr. Vigna.
Second?
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Zangara?
Yes.
Mr. Melanson?
Yes.
Ms. Hutchinson?
Yes.
Mr. Rubenstein?
Yes.
Mr. Vigna?
What?
Mr. Vigna?
Yes.
Ms. Vito?
Yes.
Ms. DeCandia?
Yes.
So just to clarify, that was a motion for the resolution authorizing the housing element and fair share, correct? Okay.
I think we have to do them each individually, correct? Do we have to do them each individually? All these resolutions, right?
I think Tom's going to talk a little about each one.
Okay.
Each of the zoning ordinances, is that what, yeah. Yep. So right now, we're just doing the motion, did we finished our roll call on that?
Yeah.
Yes, we adopt the.
Okay, so we adopted the housing element fair share plan dated May 21, 2025. Okay,
So next up would be, do you need to talk through these, Tom?
yeah, brief, yeah. You want me to just take it, Rich, and run through really quickly? Okay, so I mentioned there are 3 sites that are going to be involved to implement our master plan. So we have 3 separate ordinances that have been drafted by professional staff to facilitate the provision of affordable housing. And there is also a resolution that has been prepared by our attorney, Tom Malika, for each of these. So, Tom, I just have one question. We voted on adopting the housing element and fair share plan. We don't have to read the resolution, right? Tom?
No, the resolutions, it's at the meeting, it's at the dais. It's a very simple
Right.
title. It says what the motion was, so
Yeah.
I think you're fine, and I'm fine if
Right.
you want to explain the three implementing
Yeah.
ordinances now that need action.
Right, so
tonight.
my question is, we approved the housing element fair share plan, do we now need to approve? Everybody's had the resolution you drafted in anticipation of this in front of them. Do we need a motion to adopt the resolution?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
that would be best practice, because this way there's no question that the resolution was actually done tonight,
I make a motion that we adopt the resolution that our attorney has prepared, that we approve the resolution adopting the housing element and fair share plan.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call.
This is the resolution memorializing our adoption of the housing element and fair share plan.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought that's what we just,
We voted on the housing element and fair share plan, now we're, Tom wants us to, we're memorializing the resolution, now we're voting on the resolution.
got it. All right, sorry. Mr. Zangara?
Yes.
Mr. Melanson?
Yes.
Ms. Hutchinson?
Yes.
Mr. Rubenstein?
Yes.
Mr. Vigna?
Yes.
Ms. Vito?
Yes.
Ms. DeCandia?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't. All right, so, Rich, if you want me to just run with it, the next thing on the agenda is a resolution recommending an ordinance to amend the transit-oriented mixed-use zoning overlay in the transit village. What we're effectively doing, there's like 8 or 9 pages of amendments, and we've discussed them. The key things we're doing is we are taking off the restriction that stopped them from building more housing because of lack of progress on the train station. That's outside of their control. They spent $10 million on roadway improvements. It's in the hands of of New Jersey Transit and the County Improvement Authority. We're taking the restrictions off of that. They've agreed to reduce the number of housing units by 300, so we get what professional staff believes is a nicer mix of housing rather than so much mid-rise housing. We get more townhouses. And we also are amending it to allow some of the affordable housing to be built in buildings that are 100% affordable. And we have done due diligence in Bergen County United Way, and the owners of the property are very close to being able to sign a deal with them to make that happen. So we are allowing supportive housing in buildings that are 100% affordable, getting a reduction in the number of units, but we're taking off the restriction on progress on the train station. That's it in a nutshell. So, motion. Any discussion?
Motion to,
Discussion, yeah.
any discussion on that? Hope not. Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Zangara?
Yes.
Mr. Melanson?
Yes.
Ms. Hutchinson?
Yes.
Mr. Rubenstein?
Yes.
Mr. Vigna?
Yes.
Ms. Vito?
Yes.
Ms. DeCandia?
Yes.
Now we need a motion, Mr. Chairman, we need a motion on the resolution that was prepared by our attorney memorializing that. So when it's, we have a resolution memorializing our action, recommending the zoning to the governing body.
If anyone has any, does anyone have any question on the memorialization? If not, a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Zangara?
Yes.
Mr. Melanson?
Yes.
Ms. Hutchinson?
Yes.
Mr. Rubenstein?
Yes.
Mr. Vigna?
Yes.
Ms. Vito?
Yes.
Ms. DeCandia?
Yes.
Okay, so the next thing, Mr. Chairman, would be the zoning ordinance to create what is called the new R10 Mid-Rise Family Residential District. This is the site on Route 1 northbound, before you get to the shops, that is going to be surrounded by a future redevelopment plan. It's 6.3 acres, 14 units per acre, could allow up to 88 units, 25% of which would be low and moderate income. We look at the ordinance, they've got to provide washers and dryers on every floor or in every unit. They've got to provide inside and outside recreational facilities. We have gone out of our way, we've seen drafts, shown us conceptual plans, conceptual architecturals. So we are actually requiring that they follow the architectural standards that apply in the transit village. So if you know the homes built by Pulte, if you know what Costco looks like, there's like no other Costco like that in the state, they have to comply with the same architectural standards. So that is the zoning for the new R10 mid-rise family residential district.
A motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Yes, we have to do a roll call.
Mr. Zangara?
Yes.
Mr. Melanson?
Yes.
Ms. Hutchinson?
Yes.
Mr. Rubenstein?
Yes.
Mr. Vigno?
Yes.
Ms. Vito?
Yes.
Ms. DeCandia?
Yes.
All right, and then the last,
So we have to,
yes, and we now we need a motion on the resolution memorializing the fact that, you know, what we're saying is, yes, we want to pass it on, we've decided we want to do that, and now we're memorializing a resolution for submission to the governing body
on the mid.
on the R10 mid-rise family residential district.
So everyone has that resolution in front of them. If there's no questions on a resolution, a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second.
Second. Roll call?
Mr. Zangara?
Yes.
Mr. Melanson?
Yes.
Ms. Hutchinson?
Yes.
Mr. Rubenstein?
Yes.
Mr. Vigno?
Yes.
Ms. Vito?
Yes.
Ms. DeCandia?
Yes.
Okay, so the very last thing, Chairman, would be the ordinance for the new R9 mid-rise senior residential district, which would be on Route 130 southbound by the entrance to Community Park. 10 acres, 14 units per acre, can go up to 4 stories. Again, 25% would be low moderate income. They must also comply with the architectural standards, and it's similar density to the R10 mid-rise family, and it is the ordinance that is clearly needed because the housing element demonstrates that we need more housing for age-restricted, for seniors, both market-priced and affordable units.
No one has any question, a motion to adopt?
Yeah, a motion to recommend, to go to my, yeah.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Zangara?
Yes.
Mr. Melanson?
Yes.
Ms. Hutchinson?
Yes.
Mr. Rubenstein?
Yes.
Mr. Vigna?
Yes.
Ms. Vito?
Yes.
Ms. DeCandia?
Yes.
All right, no, we need to memorialize it, so everyone has,
Oh, yeah.
everyone has the resolution in front of them, if there's no question, we need a motion to adopt ordinance recommending mid-rise senior residential in the
Yeah.
district.
Yep, the memorializing resolution. Yep, that's what we're
So
voting.
moved.
Second.
Roll call for the last time?
Mr. Zangara?
Yes.
Mr. Melanson?
Yes.
Ms. Hutchinson?
Yes.
Mr. Rubenstein?
Yes.
Mr. Vigna?
Yes.
Ms. Vito?
Did you say me? Yes.
Ms. DeCandia?
Yes.
All right, at this point, I'd like to I need a motion to open the meeting to the general public for anything their heart desires.
So moved.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Approved. Anyone from the general public would like to be heard? Motion to close?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Hey, Rich? Before we close the meeting, I'd just like to say, I've been working with Janice for, I don't know, what is it, like 40 years now, Janice? How long have you been here?
Seems like 21.
But anyway, we've grown into it, there've been some interesting characters and personalities on this board over the years, myself included, and Janice has rolled with it and been able to work with, all kinds of personalities and idiosyncrasies, and has been grown into just a terrific planning board secretary. We are terribly going to miss her. Hopefully, if she does not continue, even though she's no longer working in the township now, in this role, she will graciously train someone else, because it's really been an honor, Janice. I know your main role was executive assistant to the mayor, but you never sloughed off on a planning board. We're going to miss you terribly.
Thank you very much. I will miss you all terribly. I already miss my old job, believe it or not. It's really been my pleasure. The planning board has been so interesting over the years. Tom, you, who else? Pat? And maybe Rich. I'll remember the Polder Farm hearing. Right? Stay here till 1 a.m. We've been through some interesting times together.
Good times.
But I will miss you all. Maybe I'll come visit. Maybe I'll start standing over there saying, we don't need another warehouse.
If you heckle enough, you might be able to get a plaque on the wall, right? Eventually, you might be able to get a plaque on the wall.
No, it's really been great. I will miss you. I really will. But you all have my phone number, so feel free to use it. Thank you.
I have this for you on behalf of a grateful planning board.
Oh,
I don't have the flag, but.
what if they decide to keep me on?
Uh,
You mean there's an option?
Is that an option?
I don't know. There's an option? It's up to the board and the mayor, I think. I don't really know.
Get you welcome back.
Yeah.
Another one.
If it's up to the board,
I don't really know.
but
You have to
I
talk
don't-
to
yeah,
Michael and
that's-
Justine about.
I don't know
Legalities
that, I
of
don't
what
know
a-
that that's our decision, although it'd be nice if we were consulted or had found out.
But whoever it is, I will gladly train them. I have stuff ready for them already. Thank you all.
Mr. Mallinson?
Motion, we adjourn the meeting.
So move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
All right.